No.
This is so awkward. I'm sorry. Okay.
Lord bless Melissa and help her.
Is it recording?
Yep.
Ah, it makes me feel worse. Okay. Alright, welcome. Welcome to your leadership and development training. My name is Melissa. I will be training you. To the objectives for this learning. Oh shoot, it's not working. Zeke. Oh.
There it goes.
Want to start over?
That's fine. The learning objectives that we're going to learn today are how to be efficient listeners, how to handle conflict management, and be efficient leaders. So can I have someone from the group read what an efficient listener is? Yes, Mark.
Efficient listeners. The ability to actively understand information provided by the speaker and display interest in the topic discussed. It can... Sorry.
It's okay.
I don't have corona. It can also include providing the speaker with feedback, such as the asking of pertinent questions, so the speaker knows the message is being understood.
Thank you very much. Can you read conflict management as well?
Sure. Conflict management. The process of limiting the negative aspects of conflict while increasing the positive aspects of conflict to enhance learning and group outcomes, including effectiveness or performance in an organizational setting.
Awesome.
Should I read the last one as well?
If you'd like to, you may.
I would. Efficient leaders. Capable of producing desired results without wasting materials, time, or energy, an efficient worker.
Thank you very much. So, this is what we're going to be going over today. Having these 3 key qualities will make you above par RAs and RDs, and it'll help you also in everyday life as well. So, going into effective listening specifically, the question we want to be able to answer is how does one listen efficiently or effectively? So have you guys ever been in a situation where you're trying to explain something to someone and they respond back to you, but you can tell that they weren't really listening? Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yes.
Yes. Not only does that hurt that you don't feel like they care, but it also isn't going to get to the bottom of any situations either. And then in those situations, has that ever been someone who was an authority figure?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Yes.
Awesome. And how did that make you guys feel?
Unimportant.
Unimportant?
Very small.
Small? Yes, I agree. So we want to make our residents feel empowered and give them the confidence that we care about them, which can be done and shown by how well we listen. This is also something that Jesus does really well in the Bible, as giving us an example of how to do. He always would take time to listen to people and really hear them out no matter what was going on. He would take the time to make sure that he heard them and had the conversation with them that he needed to in order for them to feel heard by him, because that also in turn made him feel loved, or made them feel loved by him, which shared his whole mission. So that's how we can be effective listeners. For conflict management, there's always going to be quote unquote difficult people and difficult situations.
Yes.
But the first thing we want to do is to stop labeling people as difficult, because that's not going to help at all. The label is based on someone's opinions of that person's actions, not who they are as a person. They're not difficult people. They might do difficult actions, but it's not them as individuals being difficult. So we want to remember that and think of them as a human rather than a difficult person, because that not only is going to help us in situations when there's conflict, it's going to help us resolve it, but it's also going to make them feel more like people rather than someone that no one wants to deal with. So then also, because this is going to happen a lot, when conflict arises between 2 residents, we want to make sure that we sit the 2 individuals down as soon as possible and mediate the situation. When we mediate, that means we have to be super unbiased. You have to hear them out. So we want to make sure that we're allowing each side to explain what happened and explain it in their own words without the other individual interrupting them. We want to give them time to explain how they're feeling rather than feeling like the other person is controlling the situation.
Could you give us an example?
I'm gonna have you guys do an example here in a second.
Excellent.
But thank you. That brings me to my next point. And then after that, we want to provide steps for them that will allow them to mend the situation and move forward from it. This way, it's not lingering. You nip it in the butt. It's done. We can move on from there. And then also, if possible, humor can be a really good conflict resolution tool. So if the situation allows for it, using humor can also help them start to laugh and feel more comfortable and help ease the situation, but only if it's a lighthearted situation to begin with. So we are gonna have a faux mediation really quick so we can practice. So Mark, would you like to mediate a situation between Brenda and I?
Sure.
Yeah?
Using these steps?
Using these steps?
Okay.
Okay. So, the situation, we're gonna pretend the situation is Brenda is mad at me because she can't find her toothpaste and she thinks that I stole it.
Oh gosh.
But I'm saying that I didn't steal it. So, my side of the story is that I was at class all day, I came back and out of nowhere, I feel attacked because I'm being told that I did something and I know that I didn't do it. And that made me feel like she doesn't trust me. Really quick, your side of the story.
I am ticked off because she took my toothpaste and I can't find it, so I can't brush my teeth.
We know.
And she doesn't need to be in my stuff without asking.
Okay. So now I'm hearing both sides of this. It seems like we need to probably work through some situations. Now both of you shared both sides of the story, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Now in this process, what would make you, Melissa, maybe believe that it would be Brenda? Why Brenda? And there are a lot of other girls on the floor.
Well, my toothpaste wasn't stolen. I was.
She took.
Oh, sorry.
It's okay.
Brenda, why? Why Melissa? Why do you think it was her?
Because she's the only one that's there. She's the only one that was in there. So no one else could have taken it for her.
Okay. Did you think through some other situations possibly? Maybe it's forgotten somewhere, right? Maybe taking a look at it outside of the lens of blaming it on Melissa.
No, there is no other option.
Okay, well let's move to the next step, and let's move this forward. Now, what could we do? What could we do to help the situation?
She could give it back.
But if she says she didn't take it, I mean, you never know. What if like the floor, like a floor mouse took it? This is humor. I'm using humor if applicable.
If she would just admit that she needed toothpaste and borrowed it, I would be fine. Okay, I would forgive her, but she
How about
won't even
this?
admit it.
What could we do to make that an easier situation for you? Because I know you need to brush your teeth real bad.
Well, she could buy me a new one, but even if she buys me a new one, it hasn't solved the issue that she took the other one.
So I came back from class and I had been gone all day. Last I saw, she brushed her teeth in the morning, but like I said, I was gone at class all day. But when I came back, I actually did find that it fell in between the dresser or the medicine cabinet and the sink. So I didn't take it, but it is still there. So it's okay. We have
So
two
you
kids.
knocked it off and didn't tell me?
I'm very sorry that I knocked it off of the counter.
So
It won't happen again.
So look what we have here. We have a solution because not only did we find it, but there was an apology. Now, is there maybe something that you could say to Melissa for maybe feeling sick? Because maybe she's feeling accused.
Okay, so I'm sorry, maybe I knocked it off. And I was wrong in assuming that you took it.
It's okay, thank you.
Man, we worked that out really good.
Yeah, very good.
It's actually, thank you very much.
It broke.
Uh,
Alright. Thank you. that was a good example. And then lastly, effective leadership, which effective leadership is a combination of effective listening and conflict management, combined with the example that Christ gave us while he was here on earth, all wrapped in one. So leadership ultimately is serving. If you're not serving, then you're not being a leader to those on your floor. So making sure that you're available during your on-duty hours and that you're there for the students and you're not just hanging out with friends and you're actually there if they need to listen to you, if they need just someone to talk to, or if they need help with something. If someone is moving furniture, you can offer to go help them. Just being there and serving and showing them that you really do care is part of being a leader. It's also part of being a leader is sacrificing. So maybe your friends invite you out to the movies, but one of your residents is going through a hard time in a class and they really need help on some homework. Making sure that you balance your time well. You don't have to sacrifice all of your time to only be with your residents, but in a situation like that, if they didn't have anyone else, maybe passing on the movie this time and staying with them to help them on their homework and showing them that someone does care about them. And then also it's putting others' needs above your own, which kind of ties into the other two as well. So making sure that they feel valued, and just like Jesus, how he would go out of his way to stop on the road or travel a longer way just because he knew if he did that he would have a 5-minute conversation with someone who really, really needed it. So just making sure that you're keeping in the Christian worldview perspective goggles on always, and making sure that Christ is always at the center of everything that you do, and also that you're genuinely listening and that you're doing your best to mediate any conflicts. That's going to help overall in the grand scheme of things. So I have surveys for you guys that we will go ahead and take, and then you'll get back to me for the knowledge of this course, and then we will break for lunch, and then we will meet back and go over a new topic. So
for the survey, is there anything that we receive, like a free drink or maybe $100 we could win or something?
Not yet, but at the end of the day, we are gonna have Ruby floats. So.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Nice. Thank you.
So, how long was that?